Most of you watching this video are probably sitting there starting a brand new task and feeling quite motivated while doing it. And you think this is going to last, you think you're going to, achieve this great big thing that's going to take you, just this tiny amount of time if you just stick to it. But ultimately, we know what happens and you'll stop, you'll burn out, you'll get tired, you'll want to quit, and you probably will, and it'll get too hard, or it's not the right time, or whatever excuse you want. At the end of the day, you'll blame it on running out of motivation or being too tired. Most of you actually have this problem, and it isn't a motivation problem. It's actually an action problem that's related to the strategy you use. Now, instead of starting your next project high on motivation, high energy, really keen to get it done and just going hammer and tong straight for it, and I'm gonna show you how to make sure you finish those tasks in 3 simple steps. Just to explain what the 3 steps are before you click away from this video, the first one is just defining what the end outcome actually looks like. Genuinely having a vision of what the result of your actions will look like, so you know what this is supposed to be becoming. From there, you're just going to break it down into smaller steps, something more achievable, and then just actioning on it, which is the third one, just taking action. And I'll explain this in more detail so you know how to do it, and it's not just me telling you this without a strategy, because that's what you've always done. For example, if you're a personal trainer, you're not just going to build a 12-week workout program, you're going to build a 12-week program that's specifically designed for someone who wants to lose weight. You'll start off excited and you'll probably be wanting to work really hard on it, and you probably do. So with your product, you really need to decide exactly what the problem that you're solving is and exactly the solution that you're going to provide. You don't necessarily have to put timeframes on the product itself. It doesn't have to be, a 16-day program to get you from A to B or anything like that. It just needs to have the exact problem you're solving as part of it. And that's where the second part of this 3-step process comes into place, where once you've got your exact outcome, the problem that you're solving, and exactly the solution you want, you need to really break it down into small achievable steps, focusing on one single task for shorter blocks of time. Whether you prefer to do it in 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, it's up to you, but as long as you have a designated time frame to be working on a single project, you'll actually find that it helps you quite a lot. Now, this means you can also give yourself a short break. Once you have the short break, you're more than likely to recoup your energy. Maybe you go outside, you eat something, you can debrief. Having some time to breathe is really, really important. If you don't, you'll never realize if what you've just done in that 20 minutes or however long you spent doing it is actually worth your time focusing on. Like the 80-20 rule says, that 80% of anything that comes your way is generally derived from 20% of your effort. So if you're focusing 80% of your time in the wrong spot, you are not going to get very far. So you need to really find out what that 20% you need to be focusing on is. Maybe you're building a course on how to shoot content to post online to grow your business. If you're doing that, you might want to break it into 10 modules. And this is part of that planning phase that I spoke about before, having a complete vision of what your end product looks like. 10 modules, each module focusing on a different point. This is where you're breaking down your end goal into small achievable outcomes. The first module might be what kind of video equipment you're going to use, whether it's a phone, whether it's a camera, maybe you're in a studio and you've got someone else recording you. These are things you might talk about in the first module specifically. And you might spend Monday actually just doing all the script writing for this to see if it is actually what you want as part of your course. Just remember, the ultimate goal is to make sure that what you're doing in these small broken down blocks are actually going to achieve the end result, solving the problem for whoever your client is. And you'll just rinse and repeat that until the whole program's complete. It sounds simple, and it is simple. It just requires you to think a little bit deeper and plan just a bit smarter before you start something. And right before anything else, I just want you to know that this last one is the most important one, because it's where most of you come undone, and it has to do with motivation. Motivation shouldn't be the driving force behind why you're starting this. It should actually be to do with your vision and your goals. In your business, your mission might be to help a certain amount of content creators reach 100,000 followers online. For others, it might be just to help business owners achieve $10,000 a month. Whatever your actual mission is for your business, you need to be focused on that when you start this task. It's not a motivational thing, it becomes a discipline thing, and you create non-negotiables around that. This is part of it. And one of the frameworks that I actually use to start projects is called the split decision framework, where simply you're just giving yourself 3 seconds before you think too much more about any task before you start it. If you think more than 3 seconds, you're going to start talking yourself out of it. And you'll notice this if you do it yourself. Next time you think about going to wash the dishes, if you think about it for more than 3 seconds, you're going to start to realize you're talking yourself out of why you should do it. You'll start thinking things like, oh, well, I can just do it later, or maybe I'm going to eat dinner later, or whatever it might be. You talk yourself out of it, and I guarantee you, if you just got up and did it the moment you thought about it, and you gave yourself only 3 seconds to do that, you would have just done it. It's the same thing when it comes to doing a task. If you give yourself more than 3 seconds to think about it, you'll think of all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. So the split decision framework is really quite important when it comes to actioning tasks that you've set out for yourself. You've created the plan, you know exactly what the product looks like to solve the problem. You've created the modules and exactly what you want to teach in all of them. Now you just need to sit down and start creating exactly what you've planned. Now, if you're trying to grow your business and do something similar or actually apply this framework itself, there are a lot of small changes that you may need to implement to make a massive difference, and this will compound over time. There are obviously better systems and strategies that you can be using to make better use of your time, but also get more out of what you're doing. And that's why I've actually created 16 days of simple business strategies that you can just use for free. It'll teach you how to manage your time better, how to remove unnecessary work that's not needed, improve your marketing and your sales, and it will teach you how to focus on actions in your business that'll actually generate revenue and scale. So if you want access to that, it's completely free. Click the link in my description and I'll send it all over. Now, if you're actually sitting there wondering what's the easiest way you can start making money online in 2026, I've actually got a video where I cover ways you can do that. So check it out.